Hello everyone, I am Manav. I am giving demo on CRUD operation in ASP.NET MVC. For that we need uh, required Microsoft Visual Studio 2017 and above and SQL Server 2008 and above. So first we are now going to create new project. Click on new project, select ASP.NET Web Application, click on next button. Now this is my project name. Now click on create. Select the empty project and MVC. Click on create button. My application is created. Now to perform insert, update, delete, we need a database. So I have created one database. This is my employee database. Now I am going to create new table. Employee ID column. Empty salary. We are setting identity field to the employee ID. Okay. Now set the primary key to employee ID column and save the database table name with TVL employee. Just refresh the table. Employee table is created. Now we are going to create model. Let's select the class name. Employee detail. Okay, we are creating the property. EMP ID. EMP name. EMP salary. Now we have to add controller. It's empty controller, name as employee controller. Controller is created. Now for insert update delete, we have to add a view, name as get employee with name list of model and select the employee detail as a class. Just move this class to employee folder. Okay. Now for create, we have to add a create action method in controller employee return view. Now we are going to create view for create. To create the employee detail employee, we need, now we are going to design create view to get the input from the user. For that we need to add label employee name info type equal to text id equal to txt name, name equal to the name. Now design for employees salary text id equal to txt salary. to EMP salary. This is input button, submit button, type equal to submit, and equal to submit. Now set the bootstrap class btn. Yes. This is a create view. Now form to insert the record, we have to create one more view and one more action method as a create in employee controller. For that we have to set the form method as a post action equal to employee slash create. Okay, now we have to create one more action method with the HTTP post. For action method is HTTP get. To get the input value, employee name and salary, we have to create the object of em- employee detail obj emp. Now we have to add one more model emp context to perform insert update delete operation in database. For that we have to add system.data. We have to add namespaces system.data.sql client. Create SQL connection object This is my database connection string. Now add one method public int save employee. This is employee detail obj emp. Just open the database connection, create the SQL command object cmd equal to new. We have to pass command text and connection object. Currently we pass the connection object and command text. For insert command text we have to create the procedure in database. For that we have to create the store procedure here. Create the store procedure with insert employee detail. For that we have to pass the variable emp id and emp name cat 50 salary int as begin start from insert into table name name is salary int. This is our store procedure insert employee detail. Now run the execute the store procedure, it will get created. Okay, now use the same name as a command text. Here. So set the SQL command type as a store procedure. Set the SQL parameters. This is the parameter name. EMP name, EMP salary, EMP salary. Now perform execute non-query to insert record into database. It will return the number of rows affected. Finally, return the number of rows. Copy this function name to employee. First, we have to add name page of employee detail. Just copy and paste. Now create the object of employee context. EMP context. Using EMP context and call the save employee method. The just pass the employee detail object. It will return the number of rows affected. If number of rows affected is greater than 0, means it save the record. Otherwise, it will return to the respective view. Now it will show the error of same method name. Not action trigger. So return redirect to action. For that we have now it will save the record. And now we have to add one more action method to get the record from the database, which is named as just copy the action method name as get employee. Just pass this action method name. If the record is saved successfully, it will redirect to the get employee action result action method, and it will display the all employee details from the database. Now to get the employee details from database, we have to add one more method into the employee context to fetch the record from the database. Now we have to get employee detail. For that, we have to open the database connection, create the SQL command, and to pass the SQL command text, we have to create one more store procedure to select the all record from the database. For that, write one more store procedure as a get employee details. Select star from the table name. Just execute the store procedure. It will get created. Now copy the store procedure name, and paste into the command text. Set the command type as a store procedure. There is no need to send the parameter. Now we have to create the SQL adapter object, SQL data adapter. Go to new SQL data adapter. We have to pass command object to fill the database data table. We have to create the one data table object. Use the data adapter to fill the database table. Now close the database connection. We have to also close the database connection here. Now it will fill the all records into data table. We have to return all employee details as a list. So we have to use this list of employee detail. For that we have to create the list employee detail list. To get the data table record, we have to use the for loop data row dt dot row. Now we have to create the employee detail object. Employee. We have to set the database value into the employee object, employee object, so that it will fill the all details, data row, employee ID. We have to convert into integer, just copy and paste. Add this employee object to list of employee detail. It will iterate the all record and fill the all employee details into the list and just return the list. Now copy this function name. Now use the OBJ context object to get the employee detail. It will return the list of employee detail. We have to pass this detail. Okay. Now go to the view of employee, get employee. Now here we have to, here the employee detail list is assigned to the model variable, and model variable is used to get the all employee details row by row into the table. Now just now run the application to check the employee details, create and get the employee details from the database. Now run the application. It will display the get employee view. Here there is no record in the database. Now we have to create one employee record. Just write Umesh and salary as a, and now click on submit button. It will save the record and get the employee details from the database. Now we have to perform edit operation. For that we need to close the screen. This is get employee view. Now we have to perform edit operation. For that, here set the ID as atom dot, this is the primary key. We have to create the edit action method in employee controller. For that, add the action method as a edit. Now we are this is the HTTP get method action method. This is int id. It will send the employee ID as a parameter to the edit action method. Once ID is received, we have to pass this ID and get the details of ID from database. For that, we need to add one more method to employee context. The employee details get employee by ID. For that, we need create employee object. Just copy the code. Okay. Open the database connection. Now create the SQL command. We have to pass the procedure store procedure name. First, we have to create the store procedure to get the employee detail. For that, we have to create the new procedure. Create procedure sp get employee detail by ID. Let's start from previous employee where employee ID equal. Sorry, we have to pass the employee ID parameter. Just execute the store procedure. It will create the store procedure as a ESP get employee detail by ID to get the employee detail of respective employee ID. Now copy the store procedure name. Just paste here. Set the command type as a store procedure. Create the data adapter object and pass the command object and fill the data table and close the connection. Now we get the employee detail into the data table and just read the employee details information from data table. Set the data table's value to employee object and return the employee object. Now go to the controller, create the obj, use the obj context object to get the employee details by ID. It will return employee detail model. Return view employee detail. Now overlay one argument. Just pass. Oh, we missed the employee ID as a parameter. For that, we have to add CMD parameter, then add with value emp ID. It will pass the employee ID and fetch the employee details of respective ID and fill the employee details into the employee detail object. Now add the view for edit activity. Set the employee details to model object, model variable. Just design the form for edit operation. Add input type equals to text, set ID txt name, set name emp name, value equal to at the rate model dot name. Just copy and paste. Add submit button. Set class Median success. Model variable set the employee name and employee salary to the respective text box. It will display the value in employee name and employee salary. When user click on submit button, we have to send this input value to the controller. For that, we have to use the method as a post action equal to employee slash edit. For employee ID, we have to add input hidden field to store the employee ID. Value equal to enter model ID. It will store the employee ID into hidden field. When user click on submit button, it will call the edit action method. We have to add one more edit action method with HTTP post. Use the employee detail object to receive the all employee to receive the employee details from the form. Use the OBJ Now we have to update the employee details. For that, we have to add one more method into employee context to save the record into to update the record into database. Just copy the above method, use update employee detail. Use the employee detail object, open database connection, use the SQL command. We have to create the store procedure for to update the employee details. For that, we have to create one store procedure sp update employee details. Just pass the employee variable, employee name here quickly, at the rate employee salary. Now write the update query, update table name Set employee name, employee salary, employee salary variable. Where employee ID equal to this employee. It will update the employee detail into the database. Just just execute the command. It will create oh, update employee detail. Just refresh, delete the existing, update, update, update employee detail, execute. It's created the update employee detail store procedure. Now copy the name of the store procedure. Copy the update store procedure name. Set command type as store procedure. Now pass the variable name. Now execute the command with execute non-query functions. It will return number of affected rows. Close the database connection and return the number of affected rows. Copy this function name. Go to the controller. Use the OPG context object to update the employee detail. Just pass the employee detail object. It will return the number of affected rows. If it returns more than zero record means it's successfully update the record into database. After that we have to call the get employee action repair. Redirect to it will call the get employee action method. Otherwise it will return default view, that is respect to edit view. Now run the application. enter the employee detail and call the get employee action method. It will display the existing record. Now edit, click on the edit button. It will call the edit action method and display the edit view. Just update the salary of the Umesh and click on submit button. It will it updates the employee detail into database and again fetch the employee details from the database and display on get employee view. Now are go we are go for delete to delete the record from the database. For delete activity, we have to for delete activity we have to go to go to the get employee detail view. Here we have to change primary key as a employee ID. Now create the delete action method into the controller. For that we have to use HTTP get public action method delete. To delete the particular employee detail, we have to pass this employee ID to the database and delete the respective record. For that, we have to add method, one more method to the employee context. Change the method. Just copy the code and change the method name delete employee detail. Change the int employee ID. Now just open the database connection, create the SQL command object. We have to pass here delete store procedure name. For that we have to create the delete store procedure into the database. Just edit the name of store procedure, delete employee detail. Just pass the employee ID, delete from employee details where this from employee TBL employee where employee ID equal to this. Execute the query. It will create the store procedure with name employee detail. Delete employee detail. Just copy the name of store procedure, paste it here, delete employee store procedure name. Now create the command object set the command type object as store procedure. Now pass the only one parameter as the employee ID. Just execute the command and return the number of rows. Copy the name of the function. Just create the obj context object. Delete. Pass the ID as a parameter. It will return the number of affected rows. Oh. Before delete the record, we have to display the selected record details. For that, we have to display the employee details. So we have to create the or add the delete view. Just delete view. Get the employee details by ID. For that, we have to get the employee details from the employee ID and pass these employee details to the delete view so that we can view the selected user details, and then we can delete the employee record from the database. First we have to add one method or check the employee ID, get employee ID. We can use this method to get the employee detail. Just copy the method name into the controller. Obj context get employee by ID. Just pass the employee ID. It will return the employee detail model object. Obj emp. Now pass this object to the view. We can directly return this object to the view. No need to assign the object. Okay, now go to the view. Just design the form. We are just return the employee detail. For that, we have to assign employee details to the model variable. Let me see CRUD model dot employee detail. Let's add form label employee name iterate model dot employee name. Employee salary iterate model dot employee salary. It will display the existing. It will display the selected employee details as a employee name and employee salary. Add one more input button, a submit button. So type equal to submit, value equal to submit, class equal to btn success. It will just display the employee detail. To delete the employee detail, for that we need to perform delete operation. For that we have to add method name as a post and call the new action method as a delete to delete the record employee dash delete. We can directly pass the employee id to the action method from here. Just change the action. When we click on the submit button, it will call the delete action method with the parameter name as a employee id. For that we have to create the delete action method into the controller. Add one more http post action method as a delete with the parameter as a employee id. Here it will give the error or that already defined the member called delete with the same parameter name. For that we have to add property as a action name delete. Just change the method name delete confirm. To delete the record from database, we must have to add one more method to in employee context model to delete the record from the database. Just copy the we already add the method delete employee details previously. We can directly use this method. Just copy the name of the method and use obj context and delete employee method. Just pass the employee ID. It will return the number of affected rows. If the number of affected rows is greater than 0, means the employee details is deleted from the database. So we have to return redirect to action get employee method. Else it will return the same method, same view, respective delete view. Okay. Now we have to run the application. For that we need to add one more user, one more employee. Just create new employee Satish and salary 75,000. Just submit and just click on delete. It will display the information of Satish employee. On click on submit button. It will delete it from the database and get the latest get the employee details from the database. Here Satish employee name Satish is deleted from the database. Now the insert, update, delete operation is performed successfully. Thank you for watching video. Now CRUD operation is performed successfully.